And our next community leader is.
Good afternoon. My name is Kurt Kelsey. I'm a member of Iowa Citizens for Community Improvement. I'm a family farmer and livestock producer from Iowa Falls, Iowa. Iowa Falls is in Hardin County, and in Hardin County we have more factory farms than anywhere in the state. These factory farms they don't display good community values. They pollute the environment. They make it pretty tough on family farmers. But I'm really, really worried about is the future. I'm worried about our kids and our grandkids, our communities in the future. And you know, if my grandson wants to farm, I'd like to have him be able to farm. And now you said that I was supposed to ask you what you're going to do. And you told us that you are in favor of a moratorium. Now, if you are elected and you're going to run this moratorium, I want to know how you're going to get the job done and what you're going to do to help protect family farms, the environment, and our communities.
Well, God bless you, first of all. I've been to Iowa Falls. I've been there many times, as you well know. I know what's happening in your community and what's happening all across this state. And the starting place is we have to actually have a president of the United States that will stand up to these big corporations. Because what they're doing is they're taking your democracy away from you. It's that simple. I mean, everything that's happening is being done for the few, not for the many. Everything that's happening is to undermine our responsibility to make sure that we do what our parents did and what 20 generations of Americans did before us, which was to ensure that we left America and the world a better place than we found it. That will not happen as long as we let big corporations and the very wealthiest Americans continue to run this democracy. What I'm going to do, to answer your question, is I'm going to stand up to these people. I'm going to enforce clean air laws, enforce clean water laws. We will have a moratorium on the building of any more of these factory farms. And I will be the president who uses my Justice Department to enforce these antitrust laws to keep these big corporations from continuing to spread, own everything in America, to vertically integrate. At the end of the day, the question is whether you believe we have a real fight on our hands. I believe we have an epic fight on our hands. I don't think these drug companies, insurance companies, big corporate farming operations, I don't think they're going to give their power away voluntarily. I think what we're going to have to do, we, me, you, the American people, we're going to have to stand up, show a little backbone, show a little courage, and take that power away from them and give it back to the American people. That's what this election is about.
Thank you so much, Senator Edwards, and thank you to our first group of community leaders. I'd like to welcome now to the stage our second group of community leaders who, like the first, will share their story and ask questions. Our first community leader is
Senator, my name is Ahmad Rahaf from Chicago, Illinois. I'm from the Council on American Islamic Relations in Chicago and the Illinois Coalition of Immigrant and Refugee Rights. As a full-time civil rights activist, I receive hundreds of complaints from American Muslims regarding the sort of abuses and prejudices and discriminations that they face on a regular basis simply because of their name, physical appearance, or faith affiliation, whether it's housing discrimination or employment discrimination, or having to wait 2 to 5 years over the average time limit in order to obtain their citizenship. Sadly, it seems that we're facing a culture of fear-mongering that is replacing our collective constitutional vision for equal opportunity for all. Senator, in the 60s, Malcolm and Martin gave up their lives fighting for justice for all. The civil rights movement is not over. It's not done yet. We're still fighting. Senator, fighting the civil rights movement is what I do on a daily basis, and we would like to know if you will fight with us if elected president. Thank you.
And the first question comes from community leader
Erica Fernandez from Oxnard, California. I'm a leader from CAS and affiliated with GAMEL. As Ahmed said, we're now making progress on our vision of equality and justice for all. My community is close to 70% Latino, mostly immigrants. My community are breathing a polluted air, which comes from pesticides from the agriculture next to houses and schools. My community is also affected by the radioactives of power plants that are going into our water. Earlier this year, we fought a multi-billion-dollar gas company from coming to our community and creating more pollution. This company added 7 more miles to their project because they didn't want to impact the rich communities. Racism is dividing not only racial, but also religious and class lines. It determines where we live and what kind of air we breathe. Senator Edwards, do communities like mine and people like me does not deserve a clean and healthy environment? Our vision is equality and justice for all. So, Senator Edwards, what would you do to make your vision a reality so we're all in it together? Thank you.
Now I answer. Thank you. Thank you very much, both of you, for such a passionate, and heartfelt, and emotional presentation. I want to speak to both issues that you raised. Environmental justice is an enormous issue in this country because anyone who's paying any attention knows that when environmental degradation is occurring, when we have dirty air, dirty water, pollution, that the people who are most likely to get affected by it are the poor, the immigrants, the African American community. We know who's most likely to suffer the brunt of that. And this is what I mean when I say we got to retake our democracy. I mean, if you actually believe in equality in America, and I grew up in the segregated South, and it had a huge impact on the way I view the world. I was raised to believe what I suspect every one of you were raised to believe, that my father worked in mills all his life, and my father taught me to believe that the men and women who worked in that mill were worth every bit as much as the man who owned the mill. And that's true in the United States of America. And anybody living in this country is entitled to breathe clean air, to drink clean water, to have an environment that's safe for them, for their children, and for their families. And not only that, we got to stop this racial profiling that's going on in the United States of America. And we got to change the entire atmosphere. Here's what I'll do as president. I will close Guantanamo, which I think is a national embarrassment. We will have no more secret prisons, no more rendition, no more, and I use this word intentional, no more illegal spying on the American people by the President of the United States of America. And then finally, it's so heartbreaking that we have a debate in America about what kind of torture is permissible. I have an answer to that. No torture is permissible in the United States of America. And those are all things that I would do as president.
Thank you, Senator.
Well done.